Well, hey there, welcome to Worth It Wednesday. Every Wednesday at Path for Growth, we send an email with a principle worth learning, a question worth answering, and a recommendation worth taking. If you want to get on this email list, you can do that at pathforgrowth.com. Today's principle is that your power on the peak is defined by your response to the valley. I want you to think for a second about a person that you know that handles success really, really well. And what I mean by the idea that they handle success really well is that they reach a pretty impressive peak and they are a pretty admirable person and hopefully leader as well. But the way that they are admirable is not that they're arrogant, that they're brash, that they're reckless. Rather, the way that they're impressive and the way that they're admirable is the fact that they're wise and they're humble and they're a person of deep-seated character. What I have found, and I'm sure you would agree with this, is that those people who handle success really well are often people that chose to respond to adversity really well. They responded to their valley, not as a victim, but as someone that was deeply committed to perseverance. And so your character is not defined on the peak. Let's be very clear about that. Your character is certainly revealed on the peak, but your character is defined and refined in the valley. And one of the things that we should all reckon with is that your valley, if you're not in it right now, it is coming. And we could say that's depressing or that's negative or that's pessimistic, but that's none of those things. That is just true. And man, you are what is called delusional if you're not willing to reckon with the fact that your valley is coming, right? Things will be difficult. And I don't know where they're going to be difficult. Maybe it's your business, maybe it's your career, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your health. But difficult things are in the uncertain future that's ahead. So it would probably be better for us as leaders not to ignore that fact, but also not to wallow in that fact, but just to say that's a fact. Okay, so a valley is coming. Well, then what can you do right now if you're not in the valley? You should probably prepare. And the way that you should prepare is you should draw some lines in the sand with regard to your character. Decide the way that you're going to respond. Decide the person that you're going to be whenever your back's against the wall. Because we don't know what that's going to look like, but what I do know is that you want to be the type of person that responds well in their day of adversity. And so how are you going to respond to your valley? But also, if you're on a peak right now, what can you be outrageously grateful for? I always think of that verse, James 1:2, where it says, consider it pure joy. Think of this, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And so that's how we need to approach our valley. When things get hard, when things get tough, when things get challenging, we need to recognize that, man, there's something good in this, because what is this producing? This is producing perseverance. And it's so interesting. What is the thing that's producing perseverance? The testing of our faith. So when things get bad, you have to hold on to the belief, to the trust, to the hope, and to the faith that they can be better. Because the minute you lose hope and faith, you also lose perseverance. But if you retain your faith, if you hold on to it, well, then you have the ability, but also the responsibility and the opportunity to persevere through that valley. And I'll tell you, there's no way we're sending something to an email list this big that there's not someone that I'm talking to right now that's not in a valley right now. There's got to be. I'm talking to someone right now that is in a valley right now. And here's what I'll tell you. If you're in a valley right now, don't you dare quit. Don't you dare quit. Get other people involved, because there's no reason why you should do this in isolation, and keep moving forward. Just do the next right thing. And if you're not in a valley right now, but maybe you're on a peak, recognize that you have this opportunity, number one, to be grateful, but number two, to be generous, to support other people. And I think that we are all responsible for doing that, because our power on the peaks is defined by our response to the valley. Y'all have a great Wednesday.